I'm gonna do it right. So it's really windy. Hopefully you can hear me. If not, I'm gonna stop and do some talking in maybe in the car if it's less windy. I didn't realise it was this windy out here. As you can see, not a unicycle today. Well, I have got the Apex NOSFET, or the NOSFET Apex in my car, so I thought I've got a day off. I'm going to get used to both of these things, so I thought I'd take a day out up in Cambridge where it's reasonably quiet. The schools are kind of going to break up this afternoon, so I thought I'd take the opportunity before they do to learn a couple of things. So first and foremost, another one wheel. Damn you, Jesse Driftwood. Every time I think about getting another one wheel, I end up watching one of your videos and I end up with one. I've gone for a Pint S. I didn't see the need for a GT or a GTS or anything like that, or even the XR, or the new XR, I say XR Classic. I've got fast wheels and stuff like that, like on the unicycles. Didn't think I really needed that sort of power, to be honest, for what I want to do. I wanted something a bit more cruisy. As you can see, I'm relearning. I think the last time I had a one wheel was about, I want to say about a year and a half or so ago, and it was a GT. I didn't have it very long. I think mainly because I was funding another unicycle, and at the time that was, you know, kind of more important. It's a bit more gravelly than I thought it would be. Let's go back. There's a nice bit of smooth pave I probably need to practice on, although this gives you a bit of different surface to for your feet to work out. And I must admit this is challenging. Again, like literally I was on it yesterday for 20 minutes, not long, just to try and sort of get back used to the different stance. Obviously unicycling, I'm used to riding front ways. I haven't ridden, like I said, haven't ridden something like this for a while. Oh god. I think the board I've ridden was probably about 2 years ago. Not for very long. I think I'm going to go this way. So I'm very sketchy at the moment, and the background is beautiful though. Like we've got lovely, I'm out in a kind of a private estate next to a college, and it's really quiet. I think college may well have broken up anyway already, so it's really quiet around here. But plenty of little kind of lakes and stuff like that, and miles and miles of smooth tarmac as well as this. So I wanted to come out and get comfortable on one of these again. Why did I buy it? Well, there's part of me saying, like, all I seem to be doing lately is getting more and more faster wheels, and I don't see the point. I know unicycle riders are probably going to hate on me for that, but for me 30-35 at the most is probably enough. 35 miles an hour, and to be honest, I like, you know, the exploring part of it that the unicycle gives me. Obviously this is a lot more shorter range. I mean, I don't know how much range I get. I'm about 12 stone, so whatever that is in pounds, I'll put it here, or kg. but for me, that's not what this was about. This is about kind of a really chilled, hopefully carving when I get used to it a bit more, kind of ride. I've got my M10-4, which is good for, again, little rides, and I think it will go further, and it's a more torquey than certainly this is. So again, it's not a replacement for that. It's just a different experience, really, and I'm sure my leg muscles are going to thank me in the morning, because I probably haven't used them this way for a while. I can already start to feel my feet a little bit not burning, but a little bit kind of more tender than they usually are, like when I'm riding unicycles. And my leg muscles here are definitely different to what I use on the unicycle. So you know, there's going to be, I think there's going to be a bit of a bit of aching after this. But again, I'm excited for something different. And like I said, I kind of always loved one wheels. I've always I think I've always respected them a bit more as well, in the fact that I don't go silly fast. I'm not a big, I go light trails, but nothing major. This, I'm sure this will do probably some of the trail that I'm used to. And I don't think it will necessarily go like all the way around the one that I go to. But let's get past these people first of all. Afternoon. But yeah, so I think I just wanted, again, something different, and this is, one wheels are very different. I wouldn't say I'm overly comfortable on it yet. I mean, literally, this is my first proper ride. I think I put a mile on 11 miles an hour the other day, and again, I think for this I'm 15-16 miles an hour. It's a little kind of, for me, it's just a little bit of a chilled ride. If I want to go quick, I'll go on my unicycles. But it's getting used to stuff. It's getting used to this. It's getting used to riding it. And do you know what? Like, in the very short time so far that I've been riding it, I really do like it. I think I've got the PSI. I dropped the PSI a little bit. I think down to about 18. Don't know whether to drop that a bit further. I don't like the new tyre they've got on the Onewheel Pint S. I think it's great. To be honest, when I got it out of the box, I was expecting, because I've had a Pint before, and the Pint was tiny pads, and the wheel was just like a slick and stuff like that. This is so much better. It feels more like an XR. Now, from what I understand, and again, don't hate on me, but I think, you know, it's probably more like the XR, the original XR spec, in terms of battery, torque, and there's obviously the new firmware and things like that. There's the haptic buzz stuff, which I think normal one-wheelers probably hate. Personally, I think for me that's a good idea. It's that safety, hopefully that safety feature. But I don't know. You know, I'm intending to keep this. So far at the moment, I've got a Sherman S, which is my cruiser. I've got my NOSFET Apex, which is my kind of off-road, which I need to. I've got that today, so I'm going to take that out after this. There'll be a video on that as well, getting a bit more familiar. And my M10-4. Now the M10-4, I'm thinking about possibly changing to a NOSFET Aero, but we'll see. See if funds allow. I'm not in any mad rush for that. Oh, it's a bit less windy out here, that's nice. I'm going to take the drone up as well. But yeah, back to the one wheel. So I have a tendency of kind of, probably like every unicycle rider and stuff like that, and PEV owner, you tend to watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I tend to go down rabbit holes of either unicycle stuff. If I get on like Onewheels and stuff, especially, you know, Vinny out in I think it's Belgium, and David, who's just got himself, I think, as a GT rally. And then, like I said, Jesse Driftwood, like every time a new Onewheel comes out, he generally reviews it or uses it, and, you know, does this cool video. And then, you know, you watch someone like the Float Life and all these sort of people, big name drops like all over the place. You know, it gets me into that rabbit hole of watching Onewheel videos again, and I then tend to like look at that and go, oh, that'd be great. I remember like riding it. Don't get me wrong. In my past, I've had a Onewheel Pint, I've had a Onewheel XR, I've had a Onewheel GT. I think that's all of them that I've had. And out of all of them, I actually liked the XR the most. The GT I thought was too heavy. I think it was their first stab off, you know, obviously before the GTS. GTS and the Rally look amazing, but I'm not sure I want that much power on something like that. I think I'd rather go fast on a unicycle than those. But that's just me. So I've owned them before. I've never been overly brilliant at them, and kind of one of the other thoughts was I like kind of getting comfortable and at least reasonably good at something. It may be that I give up certain things early, or you know, for a period of time, and then I come back to them. So I had a go like years and years ago on the unicycle journey, was like try to learn that, really couldn't get it, and then kind of gave up on the idea and went the board route. And I ended up doing about 2-3 years of riding boards from, like, you know, Evolve, Meepo, you know, you name it. I even had a stab at making my own, which was a bit of a disaster, but hey ho. But then I kind of tried the Onewheel, and sorry, I tried the unicycle, and I really couldn't get it. I tried for hours, really couldn't get the whole thing. And, you know, it was just one of those things. It just didn't click, and maybe I didn't give it long enough, etc. I mean, it was like a day, right? I suppose I need to check my check my app. I don't think I've gone particularly far, but I don't know how much I'll get out of this thing, and I don't want to go too far without like being able to turn around. But like, you know, a couple of years later, I then tried unicycling again, and eventually it clicked, and then I've just been addicted ever since. The Onewheel stuff I used to really like. I enjoyed it. I took the GT and the XR on some light trails. It was a lot of fun. So obviously it's not as smooth as things like having something with suspension. People enjoying this lovely bit of road that hardly anyone drives on, and yeah, I kind of enjoyed it, you know. And like I said, it was a different experience even from my boards at the time. And I think one of them, like the GT, I think I had when I had one of my unicycles, so it was a different experience. And, you know, I kind of thought maybe now's the time to sort of get back into it. No, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't want anything crazy. The Pint S seemed a decent enough spec for me, and it's kind of XR specs. So, you know, you're kind of getting a lot for a very little amount of money, to be honest. You know, especially with like the curved and bigger foot pads, which is a lot better than even the XR was and the Pint was. Feet feel kind of comfortable and stuff like that on it, so that's good. The new tyre is so much better. It's got a slightly sort of treaded tyre. It's more like an XR sort of shape rather than the roundish Pint one. So that's to me is a massive plus. yeah, you get a mag handle and shit like that, but like, do you know what I mean? That's not the, it's not massive, right? But I think I'm going to get down to this bridge, and then I'm gonna have a look and see what the battery is doing, because I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure how much range realistically I get out of this. I'm not going stupid fast. I mean, I don't know how fast I'm going at the moment, but probably not really anything at all. Again, it's more about learning today, getting used to stuff, enjoying this gorgeous weather. You know, I took a random day off. I saw the weather the following week, and I was like, weather's looking good. That is riding weather and day off weather. So it's 21 in the UK at the moment, which, you know, in beginning of April doesn't usually happen. Usually we get a little bit better weather sort of towards the mid to end of April as we're coming into May, but yeah, got some gorgeous weather at the moment, so I'm making the opportunity of riding when I can while the weather's like this, because we've had some absolutely awful weather in the UK at the beginning of the year. So it's nice to see that it's finally starting to, you know, clear up a bit, and the trails are starting to dry. Well, they are dry out now and stuff like that. So literally I'll come home now, whereas I had mud everywhere, now I'm having to dust myself off from the dust that I'm getting. But yeah, I think, you know, my first impressions of being back on a one wheel after all this time is pretty positive. I think I'm still getting used to the I'm still getting used to the getting on bit. It's that kind of dip, I think, of let's see if I can get round. It's that dip of, you know, getting round. Oh, that wind's just picked up going the other way. Maybe it's just one way. Is that going to be that strong? I want to take the drone up, or maybe I have to wait until I get the other way. All right, let's stop and let's see what range and stuff I'm at. So I've still got simple stop on. So again, yep, that didn't work. I went for simple stop, panicked, and then decided to try and do the jump thing, and panicked and didn't really do well. I mean, luckily these things are built like tanks, so it's going to take an absolute beating from me. Let's have a look and see what we're doing. That is suddenly windy again. So I'm at, I think that's 84, or is that 64? Damn, getting old. Need my glasses. I mean, it doesn't look like it's dropped much, to be honest, but I don't think I've really done much. I think I've done like 3 or 4 miles, maybe. I've done 3.5 miles. I'm on 84%, and I've hit a whole 12.6 miles an hour. As you can see, not very fast at all. But I didn't buy this to be fast. It is very windy though at the moment. This road, or this path, goes from not windy at all to really windy, because it's very open. And I was kind of hoping I was going to be able to get the drone up, but I don't know if I'll be able to do it the other way, perhaps against, you know, so I'm not against the wind. Let's put that behind me so it doesn't act as a fucking sail. I'll try and talk this next bit, but like I'm literally in a bit of a wind tunnel. Let's do a bit of riding for a minute. see how we get on. Oh, blimey, that is windy. That's stupid, and that wasn't that windy, literally coming the other way, so I think I'm definitely going into the wind, which is not great because that's usually when you will has to work a bit harder. So I'm going to take it easy this way. I mean, I think if I was on the unicycle, it would be blowing me around at the moment. It's not too bad on this. It's just annoying. Like I said, this bit can be very, very windy, or not at all. When it's very windy, it is very windy. There's nothing in between. I think definitely I was facing the opposite way, and that I was going kind of with the wind, so that helped. So I'm expecting to lose a bit more battery this way. You one-wheelers probably like looking at this going, oh, newbie or boring video, but I'm smiling. I'm smiling while I'm on this. I remember how good these are and how fun they are. Again, this may not be coming out through the audio because of the wind. Still got my microphone. It's always challenging to see if the microphone actually stays on me, and then like I get halfway round and I have to go and try and find it because it's popped off. But yeah, anyone, I suppose anyone out there with a Onewheel Pint S, what are your thoughts on it? You know, especially those that maybe ride a few different ones compared to, like, you know, an XR for instance, the original XR, and maybe against the Classic if you've got one of those. I'd imagine the Classic's probably more range and faster and stuff like that. I'm probably then going to also look, because I like the wheel look, i.e. the, you know, no fender kind of look. I'm probably going to put some fender, 3D print some fender sort of half fender or whatever you want to call it on it, because just enough to keep, like, you go around like trails and stuff, and or like stop the rocks kicking up and going on the footpad. I'm not worried about like proper fender. I doubt if I'll be riding this in, you know, more muddier weather and that sort of stuff. I tend to, during the winter, I tend to ride my unicycles and stuff. They're a little bit more kind of resistant against a lot of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm going to see how we go. I should say big shout out to Skate Hut who provided this. Next day delivery. The only place in the UK that actually had them in stock. Otherwise it'd have been I think a 2-week wait, which, you know, it would have been okay, but like I thought, well, I got a day off. If I could have got it you know, while I'm having my day off, then that was what I was aiming for. So yeah, they delivered. I think I ordered it one morning and the next morning it turned up, so happy days. Now I may be able to get the drone up here because this has got trees, so it might be a bit more sheltered than it was before. So I'm going to get past this big sign, and then we'll see if the drone can cope. It generally can cope with a lot of stuff, so I'm hoping that it's windy, but it might cope with it. So let's see if I can stop this time properly. So slowly. Yay! And he stopped. Oh. You got me? Alright. Yep, it's got me. Well, Looks like it's not too windy down this bit, so hopefully, and this can follow me up to 25 miles an hour, but it is still windy, so we'll see how the little one manages. It's still a bit blowy, but it's not as blowy as it was in the other section, so yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I've done, I don't know, 12 miles an hour. I'm literally going to be probably, I don't know, on my 10 miles I suppose by the time I finish riding. Oh, that is windy. Yeah, I can hear the drone struggling a little bit. We'll see if she keeps up, because she's battling against the wind, unfortunately, but doing all right so far. And being the speed that I'm going now, I can hear it. When you're on a unicycle and you're doing 25 miles an hour, you don't really hear the drone. Yeah, that is really strong wind now. So I don't know, we get up to the next bit, maybe we'll try going the other way against like with the wind, it might help. But we'll see what the footage is like at the end of this. It should be alright, hopefully. But yeah, where I'm riding at the moment is great, because we tend to ride up this way when we do a Cambridge run, and they're building more and more of these housing estates, and as they're building housing estates, they're just putting these beautifully massive cycle routes in. And I don't know if you can see to the right, there's another cycle route and another road going in, so that's going to be another route as well. So literally, I mean, we started with a I don't know, not a course, but a ride that was 25-30 miles. Usually now when we're riding Cambridge, we're coming up close to about 50 miles, just because either different villages or stuff like that, or you know, different housing estates they keep building. I'm not from Cambridge, but Cambridge is, I want to say they're reasonably okay with PEVs, as long as you're not being stupid. So we tend to ride up here quite a bit. Obviously, if you are riding in Cambridge, what I will say is respect the road rules, respect traffic lights, respect pedestrians. You know, you're not meant to be there, right? So you do the respect, and hopefully you get respect back. That's kind of the way that we work. You know, it's a shame that they're not, you know, things like this aren't legalized more, but at the same time, even if they're not, you can generally be okay as long as you're not being the problem. So, you know, just remember that when you're riding, right? It doesn't matter what you're riding, whether it's scooter, one wheel, e-bike, e-skate, unicycle. Respect the people around you, respect the things. You're always going to get a few people that aren't, you know, going to do that back. That's their problem. That's not your problem. You should be the first one that's saying hi, hello, how you doing, all that sort of jazz first and foremost. And then, do you know what? Most people, 99% of the time, will respect that and at least give you a hello, even if they don't want you there, or don't like you, or don't like the look of what you're riding. And I think go with that principle, and you generally won't go too far wrong. I'll try and get this to follow me all the way round back to the car. I think should do. I'm hoping this voice sort of stuff comes out as well, and then I'll just overlay it over the drone, or, you know, I don't know, some background music. Let's see, we're going to go this way. Drone should be alright following me through this. If not, I'll hear a clunk. Yeah, still very much going against the wind at the moment, but this is a nice place to learn. There it goes. Drone is down. Battery came out. Where did the rest of it go? Crap. And that hit that. I'm hoping it saved that footage though. Recovered the drone. It hit that lamppost. The battery flew out, so there may be some tie wraps needed for that. I think I'm a bit more, not confident, but I'm a bit more happier getting on now. Again, we're going to use similar sort of place practice wise. It's nice and smooth at the moment, and then I might do trail on the way back, perhaps. I don't know, like small steps. You know, it's learning things like, you know, even these little kind of, you know, the blind bumps on the paths. It's enough to kind of, you know, it's different. I don't normally feel that sort of stuff. On a unicycle, we just kind of roll over it, and then, you know, especially with suspension, you don't notice those sort of things. What I am quite appreciative of though is that, like, whereas the unicycle, you don't often kind of able to flick your head all the way round, whereas this you can quite easily. Let's get on here. Oh, tiny curve drop. Right, now this is windy, but I'm going to try and put the drone up again, and we'll take the 360 foot. Right, I'm going to do that one. All right, I'm going to do that one. I don't know, forgot simple stop and went with the jump off, but hey, it's going to get battered, right? Hi guys. I'm hoping my new camera doesn't blow over. If I suddenly lunge forward, it means that I'm going to grab it. I might actually just put my foot on the tripod. I should have brought a proper tripod and not the 360 one. Just got to lounge back a little bit. So yeah, so I'm out on the Onewheel Pint S. I picked this up. It literally turned up yesterday. I don't know whether you heard me on the kind of the chat during the ride, but I tend to go down like rabbit holes of one wheels quite a bit sometimes. It's like, you know, like you watch a Jesse Gifford video, you watch a Vinny video or a David video from like Belgium and stuff, and you're like, oh, they look cool. And I've had one wheels before, and generally I haven't got rid of them because they're bad or I didn't like them anymore. I've got rid of them because I've funded unicycles. So getting the Onewheel Pint S is like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like, obviously it's weird trying to get back onto one of these where my muscle memory is generally forward, and not sideways like boards. I haven't properly ridden boards, and I mean properly ridden boards, for about 2 years. So it's a completely different experience again, and I'm not relearning, but I'm kind of remembering some of those muscle memory that I didn't have for a while, haven't used for a while. They're slowly coming back. The first time I got on the Pint yesterday, I was like, oh Jesus, like, you know, like that biting point to get it sort of moving. And then after about 10 minutes of on it, I can kind of go around slowly, and I think I've done, I don't know, 11 miles an hour on 1 mile or something. I've done about it's really windy. I might pick you up 1 second. Yeah, I think that feels safer to me because it's an expensive camera, and I don't want it to break. So sorry if I'm a bit near. Where's the sun? Where's the sun? I get out of the sun. There you go. That might be a bit better. So you're gonna have to like I'm gonna have to talk to you a bit closer. It's surprisingly windy. You probably can't tell. I took the drone up, but like the bit that I'm going, it's lovely because it's like 2 or 3 miles of just flat, smooth tarmac, and it's lovely to ride. But when it's windy, it's got a massive crosswind. But hey ho, I've got a day off. I'm enjoying the sunshine in the UK. Finally, we're starting to get better weather, because this year's been rubbish in terms of weather. So day off, breakfast this morning, had my hair cut, going riding, try new stuff. What's not to love, right? And I'm smiling. Those people that don't think I smile, I do smile. I only smile when I want to, though. So yeah, I'm on the Pint S today. I have got the Nosfet Apex in the car as well, because again, I need to get more comfortable. I don't think I'm going to ride it here though. It's too windy and I think it'll blow me around too much. So I may take it back to nearer where I live on the trails and sort of get around there, as long as the school kids aren't around, because it's come up to their Easter break, and I would imagine, well, if it's anything like my daughter, she finishes at 1:30, so schools will start kicking out and stuff like that. So I don't really want to be kept on that, which is hence the reason why I've come all the way out the back of Cambridge. It's it's about 35 miles away from where I live, but like this bit, because they're still building up massive housing developments, every week there's a new path or something else that they've added, and it's perfect. You've got little park bits like this, you've got massive long straights of tarmac and stuff, and some bridges and things like that. So what I might do is take the Pint S all the way down again to the bridge, and I'll maybe see if I can go up on the bridge and then back, because I want to make sure I get a proper ride on the Pint. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go through like things like the Pint specs and stuff like that. You already know that, right? Like if you're watching this and you're a one-wheeler, you already understand all of what's to know about the Pint S. What I will say from my own personal experience, I've owned an original Pint, a original XR, and a GT. I thought the GT was too heavy and not really that nimble, although I did like the tyre. Weirdly, I don't think anyone else did, but like I liked the tyre. I loved the XR. I thought the tyre profile was really good because it was more flatter. That is more akin to what the Pint S is, and weirdly, I think I said it earlier, but like when I took it out of the box, I was expecting almost like the Pint again, but with some some extras. And actually, the size-wise, I don't know what it's like compared to like the XR, but it feels more like the XR than it does a Pint. I think that's because of the flared pads and wider pads. It's got a bit more, it's more torquey and stuff like that, and the tyre they've got on it is great. I really do like, I'm trying to lean on here, I really do like the tyre, and it for me makes it more comfortable and easier to ride because of the tyre. Just waiting for some cyclists to go past. But yeah, I'm liking it so far. It's not going to replace my M10-4. It's not going to replace any of the unicycles. It's an addition to. It's it's something else to ride. It's more of a chilled kind of experience. I mean, I've probably not. I think I've maybe taken up to 12, 13, maybe a little bit more. I'm not really that bothered about riding fast on this. If I want to ride fast, I've got unicycles. I've got a unicycle in the boot, so I'll use that if I want to go fast. That's what, to me, that's not what the Onewheel is about. I know you can, and there's guys out there that are really, really good, like in terms of trails and all that sort of all that good stuff. I'm relearning this, which I'm really happy about. It's been on my mind for some time, and it's been the argument I've always put to myself is, well, you don't need one of those because you've got an M10-4, and the M10-4 will generally do all range and small torque. It can go up more hills than, say, even like it's comparable easily to the GTS, in my opinion. Obviously, it depends on how aggressive you ride that. It's got a top speed of like 25 miles an hour. You wouldn't want to go 25 miles an hour on that little thing. It's mad. But that's what
put me off for a while in terms of getting another one wheel. But after riding it, I'm kind of glad I did, because it's a different experience. My only thoughts on this is just to get comfortable and good enough that I can ride comfortably, like on most terrain. I'd like to learn how to curb, nudge, or whatever you call it. That was one thing I did struggle on any of the one wheels before. I couldn't get my head around it. I couldn't get over the whole push down as you're coming up to the curb and you kind of push like that. So I'd like to sort of learn that sort of stuff, and I'd like to learn to be comfortable, I suppose, in going off, not massive curves, but like small enough that I don't have to worry about that and don't have to find the slopes to get up and down. It wouldn't bother me if I didn't, but again, it's those sort of things that will make me comfortable. My feet do ache a little bit, which is weird, but I suppose because it's just I'm standing differently, using different muscles to the unicycle. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm definitely liking it. It helps with gorgeous weather like this, right? If Liam's watching, yes, it's sunny again in the UK. I do bring the sunshine. I'd like to, I suppose, I'd like to be comfortable enough to ride with other people. There's no way, I don't think I'll ever get to the point where I'm doing tricks and jumps and all the other stuff, the crazy stuff, the good stuff that they do. Private jet, or that small plane. But never say never. I'm kind of happy that I'm still able enough to to learn new things. I am now getting to the point, unfortunately, though, that my hands have kind of not given up, but they're getting there in terms of if I wanted to get bored, it mean holding a controller. Now, unfortunately, I'm getting a lot of hand cramps and likely arthritis, I would imagine, in both hands, which means I can't hold things like the controllers and stuff like that very well. I would like a board. I just don't think I'll be comfortable. I don't think my hand would be comfortable riding it. Hence the reason why I've also got the Pint and the Unicycles, where you don't need that that type of reliance on a controller. Yeah, I mean, it's just part of getting old, right? That things start breaking. But it is what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna carry on learning this. I think I've got enough in the stable now. Although, like I said earlier in the video, I'm thinking about changing the M10-4 to the NOSFET Aero, if it allows, because I can't really have too many things like in my house. Just can't. I haven't got the room. It's taken over the kitchen already. So with the Sherman S, the NOSFET, and the Pint, and the M10-4, that's four things. It's difficult enough, and then my other half's got like a little Xiaomi scooter as well. So there's only so much room in the house for that sort of stuff, and we don't have garage or anything like that. So I'm limited with the stuff that I do, but I'm pleased I got a Pint. I'm also pleased, I think, that I didn't go for a GTS or anything like that. I did have a friend that was selling a GTS at a very reasonable price, I might add. I just don't think I need it. I don't think I need the that sort of speed and range and things like that, because if I wanted that, I would just get on a unicycle. Even my M10-4 has got like 20-mile range, so it's that sort of side of it didn't bother me. So I think having something that's quite light, I personally feel very very nimble, still very carvy, although you probably wouldn't have seen any decent carving from me on the video. It's enough for what I need. It's enough range, it's enough speed, for that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm rambling. I get to this stage of the video that I'm rambling. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, don't forget to give the thumbs up, like, share, and all that subscribe business. That always helps. It helps the channel, helps me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to sort of riding this more. I'm gonna do some more riding now, and we'll do some more footage. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. There'll be some more Onewheel videos, and there'll be definitely more unicycle videos.